good. It's time to find out how to end that. Hit it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The music going here. What's up, everybody? Post-COVID life. Come on, guys. Let's get these numbers down. Let's keep these numbers down. No more lockdown. No more lockdown. Oh yeah. Welcome to a fresh new episode of the Fitness Avengers, where we fight fat, frustration, and fitness fakes. I'm your host, master trainer and author, Tony Arreola from TotalBodyProject.com, and I'm on a personal mission to simplify fitness for you. Coming at you every Monday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Facebook and YouTube live. Oh, hello. Oh, Diana's in the house. Diana. Oh, and Nicole. Yes, Nicole's in the house. Hola, Nicole. And Nicole is still a shadow, everybody. Nicole is still a shadow. So thank you guys so much for showing up to this emotional eating episode. So this will be a fun one. This will be a fun one because we can learn a lot and we can figure out how to stop these munchie attacks, right? Because the day starts. We got good. Nina's in the house too. Nina, woo! She went on an awesome hike this weekend. So welcome, Nina. Nina is just off to a fine start. She is on fire. So thanks, Nina, for jumping on. And we've all been there, right? You got great intentions. You're gonna be perfect. But then the boss, the kids, the emails, the bills, and before we know it, open the cupboard, open the pantry, look in the fridge, and then you're snacking, and then it just goes meow. So if you've all fallen to some emotion, some struggling with the eating, you have a plan and it fails, today is the show for you because we're going to talk about all the things that make this stuff hard, and I want you to understand why you're doing these things so that you can get a real good bearing and get a real good control over the steps that you can do in order to not let this spiral, let this get way out of hand. So we're going to talk about the emotional rider. The emotional rider, the emotional elephant, and the rational rider. I'll explain what that means later on, but it's basically two different sides of your brain that are always kind of fighting against each other. We're going to talk about brain cycles. We're going to talk about habits, stress management, and more importantly, we're going to give you some solutions, things that you can do if you find yourself or when you find yourself, because we've all been there. We've all been in that situation where stress takes over, emotions take over, and you just feel like you need to run in there and get that snack, or you need to eat. So today we're going to talk about all those things and how do we combat that. Today's Ask the Trainer is a really good question is, how do I change my negative thoughts and beliefs? And you're going to find the information fascinating because you're basically, when it comes to positive and negative thoughts, you're set up for failure for a reason. So we got to learn how to understand that, how to diagnose that, and how to use that to our advantage. Thank you, everybody who's jumped on the Live Fit coaching program. It's awesome. Last week was our first week of the modules of the teaching. I'm really enjoying the process. And I think we have another member that just joined tonight. So thanks everybody for having the confidence in me to really share my passion with you. Comment, say hi. Kona wants to say hi. Hello, Kona. She wants to jump on here, but I told her it's a live show, so she doesn't care. Now, emotions will ruin you, right? Because food can make you feel good. Food can make you feel numb. Food can distract you. Food can be an escape. But sadly, food can also hurt you. And you want to know that as you're starting your journey, or maybe you're reevaluating your journey, or maybe you're well off on your journey and you're just trying to get better. Remember, you're always on a continuum. You're not comparing yourself against somebody else. You're comparing yourself to who you were, yesterday, last week, last month, and last year. So you're always on your personal journey of growth. The first thing that you want to think about is you're human, right? And humans have brains control our emotions, and emotions, control our brain, and vice versa. These interconnectivity with neurons and a lot of stuff going on with the human brain. But you start off your day, you don't have an unlimited amount of brain cycles. And what brain cycles basically are willpower, choice, thoughts. You only have a set amount per day. So if in the morning, when you start off, you're fresh, hopefully you got a good night's sleep, you feel turbo power, supercharged, because you're fresh. Your brain, your gas tank, your emotional gas tank in your brain, it's fully charged. So you can process a lot of decisions early on in the day. as you go throughout the day, you're going to make decisions, email this person back, text this person, respond to this, like maybe the kids need that. Maybe you got to go in here. What workout should I do? How to respond to this? What channel do I want? And as the day goes on, your brain cycles, your choices start to diminish. And when you get closer to the evening, to the night, you're fresh, usually out of brain cycles. What that means is that willpower is at an ultimate low. So if you find it difficult that you're snacking at night, you find yourself harder to manage your emotions at night, that's because you're basically out of what brain power or brain cycles. So a way to protect against that is that you want to be thinking like, okay, in the morning I have this wonderful brain, I feel good, I feel I'm really in control of my emotions. You're a different person in the morning than you are at night. At the night, you're going to be a different person. Okay, things are just going to work different for you. So you want to protect for and against that. And one way you can do is by planning those snacks at night, setting yourself up for success by, removing the snacks, removing all types of temptations. But that's why we struggle at night. I'll give you an example. Dark chocolate is good for you, right? I don't really like chocolate that much, but dark chocolate is good for you. So it's like, okay, it's good for my brain. I'm going to throw it in my diet, see how I do. First night, I did well. 2 little pieces of dark chocolate. Courtney was pretty happy with the dark chocolate too. She got a piece. All right, everyone's happy. Dark chocolate, cool. Everybody wins. Now the next day, I had a long day. Training, coaching, all that good stuff. Trying to get Conan to stop. Biting my leg, all these different things, right? Causing me brain cycles. And I knew that there was a chocolate bar in my pantry. So me, 18 years of experience, this is all I do. I train clients from all over the world. There I am in the pantry eating my chocolate bar. And I ate some, then I ate the rest, and I just ate it off because I lacked the willpower. I was already tired. So I proved to myself that I couldn't handle that. And was I emotional? Yeah, maybe, because I wasn't planning on eating that chocolate. I knew that it was there. It was a big temptation. So I fell victim to it because I was tired at the end of the night. So the lesson learned from that, remember, because there is no failure, there's only feedback, is that I can't have chocolate bars inside my pantry, at least not yet. Not until I prove that I can handle that. So that tells you that there's always going to be 2 battles. There's a me and a me. There's present self and future self. And what I was talking about earlier, you want to envision this as a rational rider sitting on top of an emotional elephant, right? And the elephant, whenever the elephant wants to go, whenever the elephant feels, the elephant's going to go, right? And the rational rider is going to be sitting on top, kind of thinking of how to navigate. And sometimes the rider can get the elephant, kind of move the elephant this way. But when your emotions take over, boom, you're going to run. That's why sometimes when you're upset, when you're stressed out, when you're, sometimes bored, you're angry, you turn to food or you turn to something else, because once those emotions take over, you're rational rider. You can be thinking all the good thoughts. You can be making me all the promises in the world, like, hey, T, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. But when the emotions take over, boom, you're going to be going in that direction. And understand that so that you can start shaping your path and getting yourself ready. The references I'm talking about, one is from Switch. So you see the book right there. There's Switch from Chip and Dan Heath. And they talk about the emotional elephant and the rational rider. A deeper dive is the happiness hypothesis. I forget the author. I just started reading the book, but it's a fascinating read on how the brain works and how these negative thoughts, we're more likely to believe those because they keep us safe. So what that means is you get roughly 67 thoughts throughout the day. But just imagine this. If our thoughts, right, say it's like a fish, for instance, and the fish gets, like, I don't know how, I haven't been a fish for a while, so I don't know how many thoughts they have, but most of their thoughts are to protect them, to tell them like, hey, you're out of water, you got to get back in the water, or there's a predator in the water, you got to move away, all those things. The good thoughts, not so much. They don't help them as much. The bad thoughts help them a lot. So with humans, we have evolved so much, in the millions of years, but we tend to only believe negative thoughts. So that's designed to protect us. If somebody comes in here with a knife or attacks Kona, like, I'm going to react. And I'm more likely to believe a negative thought than a positive thought because it's for survival. Now, the problem is that now that we're in evolution and we're trying to, change our habits, change our mindset, we're trying to establish positive growth, it's really hard for us to believe good things about ourselves. And that's where the rub comes in, that this is designed to protect us from death, right? But we're not facing death. We're facing struggles with nutrition. We're facing struggles with choices. We're, eating snacks, all those things. That's where all the trouble comes from. And you want to understand that, like, okay, like I'm more likely to believe these negative thoughts. So that's kind of like your brain telling you and giving you they call them deceptive brain messages. Another good book is I believe the book is called it's Change Your Brain, Change Your Life is one of them. But the other one is You Are Not Your Brain, and that was another really good book on telling you about what these deceptive messages really feed your mind, because it's crazy how much stuff we believe, especially the negative thoughts. We believe the negative thoughts. The next thing is we want to talk about is how do we shape the path, right? So we got this path, right? We want to make sure we got the rational rider sitting on top of this emotional elephant, right? And the elephant can go whenever. However, if we put the elephant in a controlled environment, meaning that it has guardrails, right? It's in a ramp going downhill, then we can make the elephant go where we want to go, regardless of how the elephant feels. Now, what that means, right, what that metaphor helps to explain is if you don't have those snacks, like I try to do today's show and show up with like cookies or like chocolate bars or chips, but we don't have that stuff. And so I literally don't have that. So even if I want to eat something bad, I cannot eat something bad because we don't have that in the house. And so I don't have that in my office. I don't have that in my car. I just have shaped the path to protect myself, future self from present self, because I know once I get emotional, then I'm going to want that stuff. Another example would be like beer. I like ice cold Coronas. Can't handle those things. So I keep those things in the cupboard, in a warm cupboard, because they don't look appetizing. So that creates a natural barrier where we talk about making good habits easy and making bad habits hard. And that's what shaping the path does for you. So you can talk to, get your kids, get all the removing tempting stuff that you shouldn't be doing, get that stuff out of the way so that you can protect yourself when you start getting emotional, because it will happen. And one thing that's really that you want to really pay attention to is if you're in like stress mode, right? Like high anxiety, like things are just crazy. Like I imagine like stress, a lot of stress is like your house being on fire, right? Your house is on fire. And then people ask me like, well, how many calories should I eat? Or, like how much protein should I have? And when your house is on fire, you want to get rid of put out the fire first. So you got to manage the stress first. That's the most important thing. So there's a couple different ways that you can do to manage the stress. But if you're stressed out or you feel like you're not handling a lot of things well, that's the first thing that you want to work on. Because if you can't handle the stress, you can't manage the stress, everything else is going to be really difficult because it's going to be added stress. So a couple ways. Breathing is the easiest one. And the way I explain breathing is, think of it like stress is like, we're in the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. And what these are your fight or flight, or rest and digest systems. One tells your body that you're safe, and one tells your body that you're in trouble, right? And over millions of years of evolution, humans were running away from tigers, from bears, swimming away from sharks, all that stuff. So we're in fight or flight. And in fight or flight, you breathe from the top of your lungs, right? Really short breaths. You get scared. Blood actually leaves the brain and it goes into your limbs, into your arms, into your legs, so that you can be ready to fight, or you can be ready to run, right? Your skin actually gets a sour taste. So if something bites into you, you taste sour to them. Heart rate raises. Digestive system slows. All this stuff's happening when you're running away from the tiger, which is scary, right? Just running away from it. But what if you work or live with the tiger? Yeah. Constant stress is really hard. And a lot of my clients, a lot of people that I work with, people that don't seek my help, are under constant stress. So I can imagine being in just with the tiger all day. But you can hack that system, right? Not by telling somebody to calm down, which is the worst advice you can give them, is to have them breathe really deep breaths, because there's nerve cells all along the lungs. And when your lungs experience that full breath, it tells the body, the mind, that you're calm. So whenever you feel like stress starting to like move up, really take those deep breaths, calm yourself down. You do this intuitively already, but it's a really good management process, a stress management system that you can use. Deep breaths. You can do, what also works really well is do what's called a worry journal. or a worry designated worry time where you write down your thoughts. This helps with people that have difficulty sleeping. So if you have problems sleeping, you can't get your brain to rest, it ruminates at night. It's because you haven't had time to be alone with your thoughts. Once you're alone with your thoughts, write down all your worries, get those on paper, get them out of your brain and onto paper. And if you're starting to worry at night about something, hey, relax. You got a scheduled worry session tomorrow. And these are all different stress techniques that can really help you end this emotional eating. So if you're watching live, say hello. Hey, woo, we got Dr. Willis in the house. Yeah. Woo. We got Nina. Yeah. Nicole, Diana. All right. Welcome, guys. Hit those likes, hit those loves, hit those helps. And we got my YouTube people. YouTube live. Woo. All right. If you're watching the replay, make sure you give those thumbs up. And if you're emotionally eating, come back and watch this. So now that we know that sometimes we fall victim to this emotional eating, we want to start having some strategies. And one good strategy is to start noticing that you eat from two different tanks. You have your mental, your emotional tank that you can eat from, which is that thing is unlimited, right? That sees food, eats it. We can do that forever, right? There's like Thanksgiving, just whenever we want to eat, we can eat. Good for humans. They can just eat whatever. But there's this also very real tank called your physical tank. And this is your stomach. So one of the techniques is that you can put your hand on your belly and start noticing when the food starts to like go into your digestive tract and then push out into the stomach. And what that's called is when the stomach distels forward, then we know we have a physical cue to get you to stop eating. So even if you want to overeat, put your hand on your belly button. It should be the same before and after your meal. Once you start feeling satisfied, start feeling comfortable, then that's a physical cue for you to end that eating. If you blow past that stop sign, which some people just blow past the stop sign and keep eating, then what will happen is that your stomach is a fixed size. It's an organ, so it's going to keep pushing forward. Keep pushing forward, it's going to get bigger. So we want to get that thing to come back down and get it back to its regular size. And then once it gets down to its regular size, then we want to slow down the eating rate, slow down consumption, be mindful, pay attention to the physical cues, and then you won't have to worry about calories or any of that stuff again because you'll get it done. The next thing another technique that you can use is you want to get a food journal, but not a food journal to log calories. You want to get a food journal to log how you're feeling and what you're eating. Do your feelings match up to what you're eating? If you find yourself like upset, mad, angry, and then you go eat, you write that down. How am I feeling? You should never have a meal without understanding why. You should always know why you're eating, because when you know why you're eating, then you know when to eat. Right? Are you hungry and you're in control? It's those times that we're eating food, we don't know why, right? So a classic example is if we're like they give donuts here at our community in the mornings for no reason apparently, but when people walk by and they're like, oh look, a donut, and they eat it, no intention, no reason, no rhyme, don't even know why they're eating the donut, not even hungry, right? Food is fuel, food is nourishment. It's good for your body, and if you're trying to have a weight loss goal, you want your body to look a certain way, you're gonna have to manage these emotions and understand why you're eating or why you're not eating. And if something's not in your budget or you weren't planning for it, or you just don't like the taste, then don't eat it. There's no rule that says you have to eat this, you have to clear your plate. If you're eating by like a regular restaurant, now that restaurants are hopefully going to stay open, if you're judging that you're full by the meal being complete on the plate, you're going to eat way too much because portions are way too big. So we want you to get better at managing your appetite, managing the appetite awareness, managing satiety, and letting your body really be the signal. But since you haven't done it a lot of your life, most of your life, it's going to take some work. It's going to take some effort reprogramming these neural nets and getting these synapses to fire correctly in order for you to perform how you want to perform. So hopefully that makes sense. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat. You guys are awesome. Now, what about if you just can't stop eating? All right. So, you watch the show. Hey, T, good example. I just can't stop eating. And this does happen where you just don't know why, you just can't stop eating. And unfortunately, if you don't know why you're eating, there's probably some other like psychological stuff that you really have to tackle. I always tell people it's like a rock, and you get those rocks that are like in the dirt, and you pick them up and they're like all yucky on the bottom, and there's like worms and like all kinds of stuff in there. You're like, oh, you put the rock back. We have to pick up that rock, and we got to look at that yucky stuff and figure out why you're having trouble handling your emotions. Because what the food is doing is it's numbing you. It's providing a distraction. It's sometimes just providing instant gratification, but it's also providing an escape. And what are you escaping from? And I know this is an ugly conversation, but this is the stuff that really will help you get a breakthrough. If you're having a hard time, we might not know why you're upset. It could be grief, it could be anxiety, it could be depression, it could be a lot of things, but you want to figure that out and you want to get professional help. Somebody who's professionally does this for a living, that way they can help you tackle that issue before you start trying to tackle the nutrition stuff. Because trying to tackle both is pretty difficult. All right, we got some of my Live Fit 365 coaching clients in the house. So thank you guys for being on there. If you're thinking about joining, I got a couple, maybe 1 or 2 slots left at the end of July. We just had Victor join us tonight. So I'd love to help you to see if it's a right fit for you. We're basically doing a lot of the lessons that some of the stuff that we're talking about here, but we just go a lot more in depth and making sure that you create the right habits to build a lifestyle that you want. Because my goal, my dream in life is to make all these things automatic for you. So you don't have to think about the stuff anymore. And you can worry about the actual real things that matter in life, like your family, being happy. If you haven't had a chance, comment Live Fit, and I will invite you to my our Facebook group, the Fitness Avengers, where we tackle fat and frustration. Thank you guys so much. Like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to comment, tag me, send me a message. Hopefully you guys found this information helpful. Oh, thanks, Jim. We got Jim in the house. We got Dr. Willis. We got Nina. We got Diana. Thank you guys so much for jumping on board. Tune in next week. I know Jim is an accomplished triathlete, but next week I'm actually starting the journey of teaching triathlon. So if you've thought about, I know Dr. Willis is going to start. She's going to do their duathlon. So I'll be teaching you all the tips and tricks to get you started on your first triathlon next week. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. You are the reason I exist. This is my passion and my purpose in life. And thank you for the opportunity to share my talents and my gifts with you. So I will see you guys next week. And take it away, Courtney. Courtney, should we take it away? Yes.
Thank you for watching the Fitness Avenger live show. If you like the show, make sure to like it and share. Please join us next week on Facebook Live.
Go, Courtney. We're getting married.
This week's show is brought to you by our close friends at Total Body Project.
Not the cartoon version.
Visit totalbodyproject.com for more info.
Love you guys. Stay safe and let's make it happen, guys. Woohoo! Goodbye.